money.
Yes. So I've made over 100k just from books.
Wow.
And that's just one of my side hustles.
I stand corrected.
Yes. I literally say the first thing you need to do is go through every single room of your house and make a pile of stuff you need to sell, because I'm sure no matter what situation you're in, you will have some stuff that you do not want or need anymore.
Hey real ones, and welcome to a new episode of Rayo with Rayo, the podcast that celebrates self-development, and we have honest conversations about entrepreneurship and self-development. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. She's a content creator with a background in social media and brand strategy. She's a best-selling author with over 30,000 books sold, has generated over 6 figures from her side hustles, and is the creator of Hotter, Richer and Fitter, a challenge she built to replace 75 Hard, but for the girls. Sign me up. So, if you want to be hot, rich and fit, this episode is for you. Welcome to Real with Rayo, Elena.
Hello. That was a very nice intro, thanks. I was like, wow.
How do you feel?
I was very impressed. Yeah, out of body experience.
That's all you. Like, you did that.
Yeah, I did that, but I mean, let's just get hotter, rich, fitter. That's why we're here, hey?
Let's go.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, you shared that you were very unhappy with your life. You were working in a job where you felt lost and stuck. Mm-hmm. You were also not feeling very confident in your body. And I think that's something so many people can relate to. But now you've completely rebranded your life. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
You're doing amazing. And you also shared earlier that you feel great in where you're at. How was it transitioning from those negative feelings, the positive feelings, and what was the turning point that made you feel enough is enough?
Wow, that is a loaded question. I wouldn't say that I necessarily have it completely figured out, and it does go in up and down and waves. So that's something very important to note, because, you know, it's very easy to see people online and think, oh, they've got it completely figured out and that's, you know, how the world works.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes to get to the point where you feel more confident and happier and healthier. But for me, I would say the turning point was I actually was having a conversation with my old boss and they'd agreed to give me a pay rise. And I was working so much for this company. I was really putting in ridiculous hours, and I'd already started my first side hustle, which was selling books on Amazon. And I'd completely stopped it for about 6 months to a year. And I was just grinding so hard for these other people and building their life. And then it got to the point where I was like, oh, actually, we'll give you, I don't know, half of the pay rise that they'd promised me. And I was like, excuse me, I've been working so hard. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And then I was like, enough is enough, you know? Why am I working so hard to build someone else's dream when I should be building my own brand and my own life to feel better about myself? And that's kind of where I'm at now. I feel just went out on my own and here we are.
That's such a real thing, because a very similar circumstance has happened to me.
Yeah.
And I think at some point you just have to take the plunge and be like, how does this serve me? How does this benefit me? Because naturally what we're taught is just to follow the roadmap, go to school, graduate, get a 9 to 5, work as hard as you want to be able to get to a point where you're happy. But sometimes that path isn't linear, and it looks very different for everyone. So what are some of your daily practices that has made rebranding your life easier?
I've got lots. I actually have quite a few. How I like to think about it is not necessarily a daily thing, because I feel like if you commit to doing something daily, then a lot of the time it just gets overwhelming and I feel like it's too much. So I like to think of it as weekly in a structure. So picking like 3 things that I want to do every single week, or 3 priorities that I have for that week, and then using those to make my life better. But for example, one of the things that I've been doing, so recently I've got an LED face mask. So I've been doing that every day because it's
meant to actually work.
Well, I cannot give you a definitive answer right now because it's meant to take like 2 to 3 months for
I see.
results, and
Okay.
I've only just started it maybe 3 weeks ago. So I'll keep you posted.
No, I really want to know, because I've
Yeah.
seen them on Instagram and I'm like, that looks good. And anything
Yeah.
beauty, to be honest, I don't need
know.
much convincing. I'm like, yep, I'll buy it.
I know, exactly. But my non-negotiable for me to actually work-wise is waking up at 5 a.m. And I know that sounds
You're
a bit
5
much for
a.m.
people.
gang. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
I am. But because I'm freelance, I also can then take a big break in the middle of the day. So I work really hard for a stint, because I read a place one time that, or like I was listening to YouTube or something about how to get into flow state. And if anyone doesn't know what flow state is essentially when you go into, I don't know how to describe it properly.
Is it when your brain is at its optimum and...
I'm sure everyone's experienced it, where you really get stuck into a task and you're concentrating and nothing can stop you, and you're in a big focus mode essentially.
Okay.
And apparently 90 seconds after you wake up is the most likely and most easy time for you to get into flow state. So I wake up, brush my teeth, and then go and work without any distractions, and I can genuinely work for 4 hours straight with no break. Whereas if I'm in the day, I'm like, oh,
Get a coffee.
yeah, get a coffee, put the washing on or
Yeah.
whatever, you know how it is. So
Yeah.
I would say try and wake up a bit earlier, and you'll be surprised at how much you can get done before work.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you were still working full time, how did you balance building your brand, maintaining a social life, and staying consistent? Because it's so overwhelming.
That's the real question.
Honestly, sometimes I get back from work and I'm exhausted. I don't even have energy for a phone call, let
I
alone
know.
like multiple things. But then it's all give and take. So how did you do it?
I think, like you said, it's very give and take, and life goes in waves. And I know myself, I get into these hyperfixation kind of periods of maybe 3 months, and I'll work really hard and I will be super focused, and that's my main priority. For example, when I first decided I was going to sell books on Amazon, and actually getting that all set up and focusing on that. And then once that was set up, okay, then I'm like, okay, now it's a bit of summer and I'm seeing my friends more, and my family and everyone. So I think don't put too much pressure on yourself to try and do it all, but also think about what your actual priorities are, because if that is your priority and you want to achieve something, you've got to make time for it.
Yeah.
And so again, that's why I wake up early, because I'm more likely to get distracted after work, working longer hours for your client or whatever, because that's just how life is, or seeing your friends or going to the gym or whatever. Whereas 5 a.m, no one can disturb me. Because no one's awake really a lot of the time.
That's so true, actually. It's so quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to add into what you've said, something that's helped me recently is looking at my life like seasons. In this season of my life, what is my priority? Right now, I've transitioned into a new role. So it's building that and then also building the podcast.
Yeah.
But then I've noticed that some of my relationships, for example, I'm not as present in those relationships, and it's hard because I do feel guilt, but genuinely I just can't be everywhere all at once. So I think sometimes prioritizing the season of your life that you're in is great, but it's also important to be aware that it does have consequences, and we have to think about what matters in that moment and how we're going to navigate those consequences.
And also, I think being in your mid-20s, like you said, most people are prioritizing their careers and maybe their partners or whatever. A lot of people getting relationships. So people naturally do understand that a lot more, that, okay, people are working towards something else and maybe you don't have as much time for your friends. But I think as long as you keep the convo open and you explain what's going on in your life, even if it is every 2 months or whatever, like, your real friends will understand. That's how I see it anyway. So I'm sure you find that as well. Yeah,
no, 100%. Like, the real ones will always be there regardless, and they probably, like you said, they're doing the same for their life. So it's a mutual understanding. What advice would you give to someone who's listening and is in that 9 to 5 where they feel stuck or lost or unappreciated?
Wow, the list can go on. I would say when I was in the same situation, what I found is I tried to learn something again that I'm more passionate about. For example, when I feel stuck around a situation, for example, even before I just got married like 2 months ago, and before that I was kind of feeling a bit, oh, am I on the right path? Not with my marriage or anything, but as in like with work-wise.
Yeah.
Is this what I really want to be doing? And that kind of thing. And then I was like, right, I'll just wait till after the wedding. I'll have more time to think. And then as soon as I got back, I actually just spent 2 days just thinking. And I think a lot of the time, and I'm sure most people can relate to this, of you have so many little tasks that you have to do during the day or you want to do at the weekend. And it's always, oh, no, I got to do just this little thing, this little thing, this little thing. And I just took some time. I took 2 days where I was like, I'm literally doing nothing. I'm not putting the washing on. I'm not, nothing. And just sit and think about what you actually want and what direction you want to go in. And then take small steps to implement that. For example, I always find like I'm a bit more creative when I'm out on a walk or I'm away from my phone.
Yeah.
So try to get off your phone and not scroll for a bit. I also use ChatGPT to help me decide what I liked about my life and what I didn't like about my life and the different, I know it sounds a bit weird of like using ChatGPT to help design your life.
ChatGPT is my bestie.
Exactly. But it was really helpful of just brain dumping absolutely everything that I liked doing, everything I didn't necessarily like doing, and then asking it for different pathways that I could potentially go down. And even if it's not giving anything that you particularly want, it can spark another idea and then you can have a think about that. So I would say give yourself some breathing time to really think and do ChatGPT. And also the last thing, like I said, is try and learn a bit more about the subject that you're interested in, because I find a lot of the time most people stop learning.
Yeah.
And you get in a rut and you don't necessarily think about how you can expand your horizons. So like for me, I've been listening to so many podcasts because I'm not really a reader. So try and do it in a medium that you enjoy. And I've been learning so much, and it gives you motivation and makes you think about other things that you may not have necessarily thought of. And then it makes you feel a bit better or it pushes you in a different direction or whatever.
100%. It's
that's my
always
advice.
so motivating. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And I can totally relate as far as listening to other podcasts. Of course, I have my own podcast, but I'm such a fan of so many other podcasts. And there are times when I'll listen to an episode and it will just completely spark a new idea on how I want to structure my life or little like health tips and tricks that I didn't necessarily consider or prioritize. And now I'm like, okay, no, I need to take this seriously. Like one you share is not drinking coffee before you have breakfast. Super interesting.
No coffee.
And I mean, I love coffee, but what I'm trying to do now is hydrate myself before I have coffee.
And and when you are in a hot country, like when you go to Nigeria soon, electrolytes. Take them before coffee. Like, sometimes when you're in a hot country or even just in general, you wake up, you've got a bit of a headache, so you go and drink some coffee because you think that's going to make you better. But like, okay, it makes you better for maybe an hour and then you feel worse.
Yeah.
Because you're so dehydrated. If you just hold on a sec and take just down some water.
Yeah.
Or take some electrolytes if you're really feeling a bit. It's a way forward and it will change your life, honestly. I always try and do 10 sips. 10 sips of water. When I wake up, I go to my desk. 10 sips. Start my day.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah. Because it's very small.
Yeah.
And then it actually
It
really
builds
helps.
up. Yeah. And I like the fact that you sort of encompassed it as like sips rather than like 3 glasses of water. I think 10
God,
sips
no,
just
10
makes it more
sips.
digestible. Like, oh, it's just 10 sips.
It actually
you
is
know?
hard though in the morning, because you don't really want to drink that much. And
Yeah.
you know, you feel like you're downing it, but I'm just like, 10 small sips is fine. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
And you'll feel better for it. So
Yeah.
there you go. There's my little tip for you.
I love that.
I don't know if it actually helps.
Well,
but
we'll let you know.
Yeah.
I believe that when you look good, you feel good. For
True.
me, when I want to cheer myself up, I either go and get my nails done,
Yes.
thread my eyebrows, just incorporate some form of beauty ritual into my routine, because it genuinely makes me feel good, and I just love beauty. And I know you do too. We were speaking earlier on about how you incorporate beauty tips into the Hotter, Richer, Fitter challenge. So your hotter tip is to try one new beauty thing or product every week.
Yeah.
How is that going? I'm laughing because we were speaking earlier on.
How it's going is not great right now. No, it was my own fault. So I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I'm actually breaking out right now, which is my own issue, because essentially I started taking 2 new supplements, and then I also changed my skincare routine, because I've been very fortunate to be, building this platform, and I've been sent some really nice skincare bits, some really nice makeup bits, all of those kind of things. And I try to use them because I want to know.
Yeah.
And it's not been going well, which is why, I actually started this like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And my skin has just been breaking out. And a lot of the time when you do use new products or you do take a new supplement, your skin can like purge.
Yeah.
However, I think it's been going on too long. So I'm now going to strip it back and then incorporate it one by one again, which is why since I've started the new 75 Hotter, Rich, Fitter, which was only a week ago, I've said, right, only do one new beauty thing per week. So you can slowly integrate it. And if it's not working, then you can at least know what product that's making it not work for you. Because obviously everyone's skin's different, everyone's body is different. So that's my tip for you. Real honest, real honesty there. It's not going well. But I mean, that's why I try and document it as much as possible on my channel, because I am not an expert in skin. I'm not an expert in nutrition, and I'm not an expert in finances, but I'm doing my best and I'm showing what's working for me and what's not working for me, and try and be as honest as possible. So that's the aim of the channel anyway.
No, it's very helpful to know, and it's also really refreshing to see someone be so honest about things that don't go well as well. Because I think sometimes it just feels like everything's working, but then you in real life, you're looking at yourself like, wait, what's actually going on? Have you made any beauty investments that have transformed the way you feel about yourself?
I would say a couple of things. So I take super greens, which I do feel like really help you clear your skin out. By the way, I'm waiting for my next pack, so I haven't been taking it in a while. So they do help with your skin, help you be a bit less bloated. Collagen masks. Oh my God.
I love.
Why didn't I not see that sooner?
Yeah, collagen powder in my bag. I do need to be more
okay.
consistent though. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the Stylist Live event, and they gave us like a huge box of collagen sachets.
Oh God!
But I haven't started taking it. I keep forgetting I have it, but I need to try it. But
Please let me know.
I love collagen powder.
Yeah.
So good.
So I've never actually taken it orally because I am vegetarian.
Okay.
And then I'm like, do the vegan collagens actually work? I don't know necessarily, but it's one to try.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me know how it goes when you start taking the sachets. But I do love the actual ones that you put on your skin.
Yeah, it's always nice because then also you can see the results instantly. And sometimes you just need that quick fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say as well, the Medicube Booster Pro, it's like
I have seen it, but I've never tried it.
Really, when you're consistent with it, you can see a massive difference in your skin. It's really, really good. And a vitamin C serum.
Yeah.
in the morning.
Non-negotiable for me.
Non-negotiable.
I can't like live without it.
I know. Which one do you use?
I use Medicaid.
Okay, yeah, nice. Well, yours is much more fancy than mine.
Which one do you use?
I use the Beauty Crop. It's so cheap and it's so good.
I've heard the makeup is really good.
Yeah, so I used to work with them on like a UGC basis. And so I used to get a product from them every month or a couple products. And thank God I did. Honestly, half my makeup is from them now. And it's really cheap. So I really recommend it. You can get it on Boots. You can get it from their website.
Really? I don't think I've ever seen them on Boots.
I think they've only recently come onto Boots. So yeah, recommend if you ever want some good makeup that's reasonably priced.
Yeah, we
and
love
good
that.
skincare as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How has prioritizing how you look and feel changed the way you view yourself?
I would say, I don't know, there's a few ways of answering this, but I would say I've never been insecure about, like, I've never really been super insecure except about my weight. So I would say prioritizing how I'm eating, and I guess from that perspective, has made me feel better of just, I feel more confident, you know, walking into a room or having chats. But I mean, I've always been an extroverted person, so I don't feel like I've ever needed to, I don't know, this is a weird way of saying this.
But you haven't necessarily struggled with that as far as like showing up.
Yeah, like I'm very happy to, well, apart from at the moment when I have loads of spots, but I can go anywhere without makeup. Like I'm not necessarily a person that has to always look really good. Like I'm happy to go to the shops in my trackies and wearing no makeup, or even going, I don't know, to the gym or out. So I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily the right person to ask that question to. I don't know. I feel like I've answered that really badly. Sorry.
No, it's interesting though, because I guess what you touched on was very important, because different people have different insecurities. Yeah. So yours was not necessarily in terms of like how you show up and how you present yourself. No. But it was your weight, which is something that you struggled with. But did that ever hinder how you viewed yourself?
Yeah, of course. I mean, with anyone's insecurities, it's what you think about much more than, you know, probably everyone else thinks about when they look at you or when they talk to you. But yeah, I mean, I would say over the last year, 2 years, I have tried to make a bit more of an effort with my appearance. But I think that's more because now I'm self-employed. I feel like if I'm just slobbing around in my pajamas, I need to do that to get up and go. And I also feel like when I put makeup on, I pick my skin less. So that's just me.
Oh,
as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like you've become a lot more conscious about your looks now that you've gone full-time as a freelancer?
I would say the one thing, like I can completely understand how a lot of content creators, you know, feel the need to get, you know, cosmetics done, or because you're staring at yourself all day. And as in, you're staring at yourself when you're editing yourself, which takes ages. And my bottom teeth were wonky, and it would really piss me off every time I was staring at myself editing. But apart from that, not really. Yeah. When you're not feeling good, it's hard to be motivated, which is why, then you do want to put more makeup on or to get in the mood. But
Yeah. I feel like since doing this, I've become a lot more just aware about my flaws.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm like, I can see when I've gained weight. Oh, you know, I can see when I notice just things that other people might not pick up on.
Right.
But then I try and have boundaries when it comes to it. It's like, okay, yes, this has happened, but this is not the end of the world. And this is ultimately not what the podcast is about. So why does it matter? Yeah. If what I'm saying is of value, how I look shouldn't really be my focus point. You know what I mean? But I think that's a lot of like mental talk to be like, it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter. But I was just curious because I know you're a full-time creator, and it's also something that a lot of creators don't necessarily speak about, or they speak about just like procedures and like appearance, because we live in such a shallow world as well, where appearance is how you're perceived is ultimately first impression, like down to
Yeah.
appearance. And it's something that a lot of people prioritize,
Yeah.
which is not a bad thing, but I just think there's quite an interesting conversation around it and how we
Yeah.
balance it where it doesn't become the point of focus.
I mean, why I started, so before I did the 75 Hotter Rich Fitter, I actually had a 10K Hotter Rich Fitter challenge, which is where it all started because I wanted to look and feel my best for my wedding. That's where, it all began. And because there is the ultimate pressure when you're a bride to be the best you've ever been on your wedding day, la la la. But within that process, okay, I did lose weight and I did make sure my skin was good and I was really trying, whilst also trying to gain money as well for the wedding. But within that, it did also make me realize that I kind of let go of a lot of prior beliefs in a way. For example, going through that and trying to lose weight in a sustainable way, I now eat intuitively rather than binge and restrict eating, because I realized that wasn't sustainable and you shouldn't. Well, not you shouldn't, everyone's different, but I feel like you can't, one way that has always been is not necessarily the right way. And that's when I was like, wait, what am I actually doing? Like, I don't want to starve myself. Like, I don't want to bad around food. So it's like switching that mindset. But yeah, it's true. When you're filming yourself, you do feel more conscious, I suppose. But yeah, you've got to also, everyone's very beautiful in their own way, and you've just got to try and think about that.
So
and there's
sweet.
so many other, yeah, like I would, obviously I don't, this is the first time we've met in person, but I would never think, oh my God, you've put on weight or not weight. It's only things that you think about yourself. Like you would never think that about your friends or other people. You'd be like, oh God, they look great. I would never think that about my friends.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all self-inflicted.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to be kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
And also change what you don't like. If it's really bothering you, I'm not opposed to it.
No,
like,
absolutely
please
not.
do it, because when you feel good, when you look good, you feel good.
Yeah. But just don't do it when you're super, super young.
Yeah, true.
Because you change so much. Like from when you're 18 to, I don't know, 23, 24, so much about your life changes. You could be a completely different person. You can look completely different. So maybe hold off till you're a bit later.
It's true, actually.
I would say.
Yeah. And as women especially, so much of our body like changes and develops over time. So an insecurity you have, you never know if maybe further down the line you're going to have it.
I watched a creator called, I think her name's Maya. I don't know, I'll send her to you and you can tag her. She did a video and she was always saying how she wanted a nose job, blah, 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 blah. And then now, and she has like a Roman nose, if anyone knows what that is.
What is that?
It's kind of like a Greek nose of like a typical Grecian nose, because she's Greek as well, but just like it's like kind of when it's a bit more like out from the side.
Okay.
And more of like a bump at the top kind of thing.
Okay.
Anyway, now she's so happy because like, that's her heritage and that's, her grandparents and her parents, and that's her identity, and she wouldn't want to get rid of that. I thought that was like a really cool message to see online, because it's true. Like, just because you don't like something when you're younger, things change. Your perception changes of yourself or whatever. You never know. But then, like you said, if something is really, really bothering you, go for it. Change it. Do whatever you want. You should feel confident. That's the main thing.
So true. So let's talk about money. I love that you're so open about it and you speak with transparency.
I try.
It's very refreshing. No, genuinely, because people just feel uncomfortable to talk about money. And I get it, right? True. It's like, it can also be quite personal, so I understand some of the apprehensions. But I think with Gen Zs, that's something that's changing. Like, even my co-workers, who are also my friends at work, we all speak about how much, like, we earn.
Yeah.
What we're working towards. There's no shame. There's no like, pushback. It's like, if you ask, I'll tell you. It's, it's not really a secret.
But I think it's so important.
It is.
because it can open your eyes in so many ways.
It did for me.
Yeah. And some, especially in the workplace, I know it's not really, people don't love to talk about it, but thank God, we did when I was in the workplace, because then you realize, whoa, they're really undervaluing me, or okay, I'm in a good spot, and it just helps you feel, I mean, it can go one of two ways. It can help you feel bad, but then okay, maybe this is not the right job for me and I can go somewhere else. I don't know. That's a blessing in disguise.
100%, because then you can do something about it. And then you also have all the information for you to assess if something is working. Whereas if you're just coasting and having the mindset like, this is so terrible, I don't want to talk about it, you don't really know, one, let's say you're in a really good position, how much of a good position you're in, or two, if you're being undervalued. And also I think it's also important for you to assess it in like a wider landscape, like the entire market, not just your workplace, right? Like my friends that I don't work with, we speak openly about it, and it's just good to know. I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's really good, that's sort of a nice middle ground. Well, I'm like, actually, that's really bad. Get out. Like, so
yes.
What made you be so transparent about it?
Well, I don't know whether I should say it.
Oh, okay. If you don't want to, that's fine.
No, I mean, I feel like, well, as we all know, the gender pay gap is still prevalent and crazy to this day and age. And one thing that I heard, this is a bit of a tangent, but it will make sense why I'm saying it now. But I was listening to a podcast the other day. This woman called Nicola, and she's like head of global technology at Meta, something like that. Anyway, she was basically saying when the dot-com boom happened, women kind of got left behind in a bit of a way because they were later to adopt the technology. And she was saying what's happening now is with the AI boom, women are 20% less likely to use AI and to even investigate and even look into it, because they feel like they're cheating at work. And essentially, she was saying that's probably going to exacerbate the gender pay gap and exacerbate, who has a job, who doesn't, because you're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to the people who understand AI. And I mean, it's the same with the content world, or the same with side hustles. I just think so many women, especially, like my channel is for the girlies and the girlies only. But like, I just feel like not enough people talk about it, so people don't actually understand how many different ways you can make money. And like, I don't talk about anything that I haven't done to make money. I just talk about it from my own experience. But there's so many, if you don't talk about it, people don't understand that you can make an extra couple £100 a month, or thousands of pounds a month, or I don't know, however much. And I think it's good to talk about, because it can expand people's reality of what's possible. And it's simple things. It's not even, you have to work 10,000 hours just to get to this point. It can just be pick up and film.
You've made over 100K from your side hustles. What was your very first one, and what did it teach you? It was the books, I'm guessing.
Yes. So I've made over 100K just from books. Wow. And that's just one of my side hustles.
I stand corrected.
Yes. Yeah, that was in 2021. I started selling books on Amazon, and I really haven't done too much with the business now, but they just kind of tick along in the background. What did it teach me? So much. So before, I was working in a job I actually didn't like again. So I was working in a job I didn't really love. It was my first job out of uni. I was doing software implementation, and it got sold to me that I was doing it was meant to be management consultancy, but it turns out it was software implementation. I had to learn all this software, which I had no clue about, and I've never been that much of a techie person. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I was like, well, whatever. I need to find something else to fill my time that gives me more of a purpose, because I'm not finding purpose in this role. And that's when I started selling books on Amazon. I bought a course. I learned how to do it. I followed the course to a T. I've done well from it. And what I learned is actually how to build community and market. So my books are around a certain business niche, and I built a community on Facebook of over 70,000 people in a Facebook community organically, and I did that within a year and a half. So that like leads kind of my marketing efforts, and that feeds my books. So I don't necessarily have to spend as much on ads. And it's just learning about building community, marketing, customer focus. And then I switched from doing implementation consulting for software into a marketing lead role, which then completely changed my career. So genuinely, if I'd never started that side hustle, I would have a completely different career. Maybe I wouldn't be in marketing now, but so I just decided that was what I liked the most about the books.
Yeah. And you've tried different side hustles like Amazon publishing, UGC content, selling on Vinted and Facebook Marketplace. Which ones would you recommend for someone just starting in 2025?
You see so much online, and I think it's so easy to get overwhelmed of like, what can I do? How should I do it? This is the question everyone always asks me. I literally say the first thing you need to do is go through every single room of your house and make a pile of stuff you need to sell, because I'm sure no matter what situation you're in, you will have some stuff that you do not want or need anymore. Some things obviously you can't sell, and maybe you need to throw it or give to charity. Always give to charity as much as possible. But there will be stuff you can sell. Sell it. You'll be surprised at how much money you can make. And at least that gets the ball rolling. It's not something super complicated that you have to use your brain for. It's something simple, but it's people even then are too lazy to do that. And even then are too lazy to do it properly. If you're going to do it properly. Make sure whatever you're selling, if it's, this coat, am I going to be selling it all scrumpled up in the corner with bad lighting? No, I'm going to be trying it on. I'm going to be making sure it's steamed. It's all of these kind of things, which is simple, that will help you actually sell, because that's the next issue of, it's not selling. Okay, well, also, have you checked the price? No one wants your Zara coat, which was £50 in the first place, that you've worn for 2 years. No one wants it for £45. It's silly. You have such high expectations of stuff. You can easily make a lot of money if you sold that coat for £20. So I would just say, start simple, and then also do some research. Spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week thinking about what you're passionate about. Is there something that you can do around that subject to make money? Probably.
Where did you learn about the course that you took?
I was on YouTube looking up side hustles and ways to make money online. I was watching Patricia Bright.
Love her.
Yes. And an ad popped up and I watched it and I bought the course. So, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It starts with curiosity and it starts with thinking, what do I actually want to do? Because me making money online is just how I've done it.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to make money online. You've got to find something that sticks with your lifestyle. That's another thing that I always do say as well, is you've got to figure out, do you want a side hustle or do you want another business? There is such a big difference, and a lot of people do not want the commitment of a whole entire business. Like, for example, you building this podcast, it's a business. It's not a side hustle.
Yeah.
It's not like a quick little thing you can do on the weekend.
Yeah.
This takes time, effort, energy. So you've got to decide, are you willing to put in the time and effort to maybe not have immediate reward, but you'll have better rewards in the long run? Or do you just want a quick few £100s, which is, both avenues are great, but just actually be honest with yourself.
About the opportunity cost.
Because otherwise, of course, it's going to fail. Like, say, you decided you wanted to do a podcast, but you didn't actually care and you weren't passionate about it. And you're like, oh, God, no, it just doesn't work after the 5th episode or something. Well, obviously, you didn't properly try, and it was a full business that you're building, Whereas, I would just say, be honest with yourself. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
And if you just want a few £100s, then do something smaller.
Yeah. I saw someone say that you can't say something failed if you haven't done it for at least 100 times.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good advice, actually.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's true.
We always want instant gratification. Like, I'm guilty of it too, to be honest.
We all are.
But you're right. Sometimes you really just have to play the long game. But I like that you differentiated between, do you want a business and do you want a side hustle? Because I think a lot of us also are becoming increasingly aware that having one stream of income in 2025 is just not sustainable.
No.
So how do you sort of differentiate between prioritizing side hustles and then maybe prioritizing like a business or more of like a routine basis?
I would say, like I said, making sure you have 3 main priorities for the week, and they don't also necessarily have to be around making money or anything like that. It's just, what are your 3 main things that you have to do that week, and slot them in first into your calendar. And just not taking on so much at once. Like, I know you were just saying all the different side hustles that I've done. I haven't done them all at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, I picked one. I did the books first. I only, after 2 years, did I decide to start making content. And then I was like, right, okay, making content. And then UGC came naturally. And then, you know, actually now I'm building a business around content. Okay, fine. But these all come in phases. I'm not doing them all at once.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want to build something, you have to concentrate on it quite a lot for a certain period of time. So it's just deciding what your main priority is at that time.
Yeah.
And as we were saying with friends and balancing it all is, again, just phases, seasons of life, like you said. So if that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense. And consistency helped you leave your full-time job into pivoting as a freelancer. What did that transition actually look like behind the scenes?
Bit of a crazy one, actually. I flew to Australia the week after.
Oh wow. I didn't realize it was that soon after.
Yeah. So then, I was in Australia for 3 months. So it was a bit of a weird time because also it was Christmas. It was in December last year. So it was Christmas, all of that kind of thing. So I kind of just took a bit of a break. December's always a busy time with content and brands and things like that. So I was finishing all of those. And then, I was in Australia for a couple months. Worked with some Aussie brands and some brands that could ship to Australia and things like that. And then also had some clients on the side. But it was quite a natural transition because I've had those side hustles for so many years. And by that point, I was making way more than my 9 to 5 doing my side hustles. So for me, it was not really a worry of, oh God, how am I going to deal with this? But I would say transitioning from a 9 to 5 where you do have a steady paycheck and you know when your money's coming in, it does give you that security.
Yeah.
So I would say before you necessarily leave your 9 to 5, just make sure you have something in the background or at least have some security or have a path to security.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. You published your books under pseudonym.
Yes.
And I read somewhere that you regretted it.
Oh, yeah, I did say that.
What made you make that choice there? Because I think that's so interesting. And why do you feel differently now?
Well, to be honest, I don't really care that they're under pseudonym now. Okay. I mean, I go through phases where I'm like, yeah. But essentially, I did it under a pseudonym because I was at a 9 to 5. I was 22 years old and I didn't know if it was going to work or not. Because I was doing it sneakily and I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was like, I'll just do it under a different name. And I have a lot of different books in different niches. I have one specific niche and then like some coloring books and then some journals, all these kind of things in different niches. So I have multiple pseudonyms. They're all different, which is quite funny.
Mysterious.
Yeah. So in a way, I regret it because I'm like, well, they did really well. And, for example, I think like 3 or 4 of them were Amazon bestsellers for a while. I think one of my books remained an Amazon bestseller for over 2 years in my category. So in that sense, you're like, oh, well, it worked out really well and it was a success. I should have had it under my name. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is happened now. I'm not going to change it. So yeah, it's just a bit, I regretted it at the time because I also created, like I said, the Facebook community around my business. And then I had, I was talking to people under my name, but then also having to be like, oh, by the way, this is me. I am the author, So
did they trust you?
Yeah. I mean, well, they bought it. So
Yeah.
I guess so.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you said 75 Hard doesn't take into account women's hormonal cycle.
Does it? No.
It really doesn't.
No.
And I love that you spoke on that, because it's really annoying seeing things and people are like, oh yeah, just do this, just do this, just do this. But actually, we run it on a 28-day cycle, and our bodies physically cannot give the same energy every single day. So how does Hotter, Richer, Fitter do things differently?
So I essentially, like you said, I wanted to focus more on women and our hormones, because it's just 75 Hard is really unsustainable, especially as a woman. And I feel like there's always pressure on a woman to look and feel our best. But if you're not working with your body, how can you look and feel your best? And then you end up, I feel like, because 75 Hard is so intense for such it's actually 10 weeks. It's quite a long period of time. You could easily get into a really bad binge and restrict cycle, or, feeling horrible about yourself because you have to take progress photos every day. And okay, well, when I am ovulating, I look much better than when I'm, on my period, or, stuff like that. And it's just, so yeah, that's why I decided to take it into account. And I think the main difference is working on like a weekly schedule, like I said. So instead of doing stuff every single day, which is, 2 workouts a day, reading every single day, it's unrealistic with everyone's lives and things going on. And then if you miss a day, or if you have a cheat meal, you have to go back to square one and day one. That's ridiculous. If I want to have a bit of chocolate, I will have a bit of chocolate, and my life is not going to end, and actually I'll probably feel better for it. It's just everything in moderation, and making sure you do it for during the weekly period, because and also working out with your hormones as well. Yeah. Because
like low impact exercises when you're on your period, or the week before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very much so. Stretching. And then when you are ovulating, then do a bit more hardcore strength training, because you do have a lot more energy. And there's a really, really good episode of Diary of a CEO. I'll send it to you so you can link it again. From a women's health doctor who explains the whole cycle and what you need to be doing at each phase. Because if you do such intense exercise during your luteal phase, or your period, you might end up actually gaining weight. Yeah. So because you're not working with your body. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I decided.
I love
enough is enough.
I love that. Your non-negotiables are 10K steps a day and no coffee before breakfast. Why specifically are those 2 non-negotiables for you?
So walking, because you can do every single day on your cycle, because it's low impact. So it doesn't matter where you are on your 28 days. And also it's something which obviously some people cannot, but majority of people can do, and you can fit it in around your life. So it's not necessarily a huge transition which you have to really think about. It is a lot of steps, but say you go to the office, get off a tube stop earlier, and get on the tube stop later when you're coming home, that's another 2,000 steps or something. Then, I don't know, you walk to the shops, but you go the long way around. And then on the way back, you go the straight way around because you've got bags. Fine,
that's a really good way to think about it. I like the tips of getting off a stop earlier and then just walking.
Because, the tube, especially if you're in London, everything's so close anyway. I mean, it's only 10 minutes longer, or even 5 minutes half the time. It's not even that much longer. And you are adding it in. It doesn't take that long. And you're just trying to work it into your life. It's something that everyone, you can do more easily than other things, and it doesn't feel like too much pressure to really do those things. But since I've been walking 10,000 steps a day, I've been doing it since March, I felt a huge difference in my body and my mind, and being able to sleep better and not being as snacky and just not being in the house as much, getting some fresh air in the brain. You know, if you're having a lunchtime slump, go out for a walk. You'll feel 10 times better. So it's good to get outside. Obviously, you don't always have to do it outside, but if you can, outside, doing a few steps will dramatically improves my mood. So
I love that. We've spoken a lot about just different habits, positive habits that people can implement into their lives. But sometimes life genuinely does get so busy and other things might take priority.
Yeah.
But how do you maintain a sense of consistency across the board with these habits?
Well, like I said, it's just about making those small changes and trying to habit stack as much as possible. For example, I always say now, if I see my friends, instead of going to the pub or like going out for dinner, I'm like, can we go for a walk instead? And you're still chatting loads, you're still catching up. It's cheaper also, and you're getting your 10,000 steps in, so you're habit stacking because you're still seeing your mates, but you are doing something that's going to benefit you as well. Or, you know, and then you can put your podcast in while you're walking home or whatever. And even then, you don't necessarily have to change everything about your life. For example, if you do like to go to the pub with your mates and have a drink, well, walk to the pub then. Like, you don't necessarily have to get on the tube.
Exactly.
It's just about making a few more like conscious decisions, being like, right, that's what I want to do today. Or this week. That was in my non-negotiables, which I planned on Sunday. If you're doing the 75
you have a 30
challenge.
a 30-minute time block where you plan everything
on a
you
Sunday.
Want to do on, like, per week on a Sunday. And for those that don't know, habit stacking is essentially when you tag along like multiple habits with things you ordinarily would do anyway to sort of create then like a positive snowball effect. So you're doing all the things you usually would do at one time block, right?
But also it's about doing things at the same time. So it's like I said, walking and listening to a podcast is two things. Okay, you're helping your brain because you're listening to something educational, but you're also walking and getting your steps in, which is helping your body move, and you're feeling better about yourself internally and helping you digest and all of those kind of things.
We are transitioning into the closing. What is your 3-step playbook for becoming hotter, richer and fitter?
3-step playbook. Oh, that's a hard one, you know. But I would just say pick one thing each week to make you hotter, richer, one thing to make you richer and one thing to make you fitter, for example, which is why I've created the challenge on a weekly basis. For example, like I said, doing one beauty thing a week that might be different or something that you've wanted to try. Well, now's your time to try it. With richer, okay, blocking out that 1 hour every few days just to actually sit down and research a side hustle you want to do. Honestly, how many people have said, oh, I want to make more money? When was the last time you did research on something you could actually do to make money, except scrolling on socials and thinking, oh, that sounds interesting because you've heard someone say it, but have you looked into it properly? Probably not. So just take the small steps every week and plan it in on Sunday to make sure you actually do it.
And for fitter, it's 10k steps a day.
Fitter, 10k steps a day, or whatever you want. Like, I mean, like I said, working with your hormones and doing those exercises that work with your body.
Amazing. So at the end of each episode, I always ask my guest what their ikigai is. And ikigai is a Japanese concept that translates to your reason for being, so your purpose.
Okay.
And the idea behind this is there are 4 questions. And when you answer those questions, you sort of get an idea of who you are and what your purpose is.
Okay, great. Help me find my purpose,
Okay,
please.
so I'll ask you 4 questions and then you can just answer them rapid fire.
Okay.
What do you love?
What do I love? I love my husband and my dog, my family, my friends.
Aww. What are you good at?
I'm good at chatting with people.
You are. What can you be paid for?
anything I want.
You're literally the side hustle queen. So
I think genuinely you can be paid for anything. You'll be shocked at the amount of stuff that you can be paid for online. And as in, nothing dodgy. I'm not saying like anything like that. I'm just saying you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Any skill you can make money from these days.
Yeah. And the final one, what does the world need?
The world needs more kindness to everyone and love and support. And I just think if you see someone wearing a nice outfit, just tell them. Or, you know, spread the love.
Yeah.
Because we all sit there on our phones and, you know, on the tube or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, one person came up to me the other day and said that they liked my jacket, and it just really made my day. So I'm trying to do that to other people now, because I just think, wow, so nice. And like that could really make someone's day.
Yeah. Give what you want to receive.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elena. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you for sharing your journey so openly and for coming on Real with Rayo.
Well, thank you so much. It was so much fun. I really appreciate it. And I'm loving what you're doing. Keep spreading the positivity and the entrepreneurial spirit and the wellness tips and tricks. And I'm loving all your guests and yourself. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, real ones, if you want to join the Hotter, Richer and Fitter Challenge, please make sure you follow Elena. I'll leave all her details in the description box below. And I'll see you in my next episode.